Thanks, Elena. I'm PCM Founder Jimmy Young, and this week on our one-on-one during We Talk News, we're talking with Marc Shepard. He's the grand poobah, if you will, the CEO, the president, the man who makes all the decisions for the New England Cannabis Convention in Boston next weekend, or the weekend of March 22nd and 23rd. So we don't date everything that I do that is recorded. Marc, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the 10th annual.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. Great to be here as always. And yeah, time flies. It's just one note on the 10th annual. It's a funny thing because people saying, was it really 10th annual because of COVID? But we only actually missed 1 year in COVID, and we actually did two conventions in 2015. So it's not only our 10th year, it's our 10th convention.
Marc, if anybody gives you a hard time about that, you send them to me, okay? Because you survived that pandemic. And that, at one
Crazy.
point, I'm sure at some point you were really worried you were going to, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One point, yeah, about a year and a half.
Okay, there you go. Well, we're certainly glad you're back. And it looks like, are you back to pre-pandemic levels now as far as the excitement, the number of booths, all that stuff?
We actually, when we came back fully in 2022, that was our biggest show ever. It was bigger last year, and we have more booths. We're actually in a third hall, and ticket sales are healthily ahead of last year's pace. So, for whatever reason, 10 years in, this show's still growing both in attendees and exhibitors.
Now, you know, the doom and gloom that's out there in this industry. I call it a market correction over the last few years when the investment dough has kind of slowed down, if not completely stopped. And speaking of stopped, we're just trying to keep our government going these days, let alone them actually doing any reform on the cannabis front. That being said, you obviously are not seeing much of a market correction on the trade show world, or are you?
No, I mean, well, I'm seeing it overall, but I kind of take a different look on it. I mean, the doom and gloom. I'm like, I don't really understand why people think it's almost like saying, like, if you're watching the NFL playoffs and then every week going, oh, there's less and less football teams playing. It's doom and gloom. I'm like, not trying to be, cold hearted, but in the end, it's such a great opportunity. For every 10 opportunities, 100 people go for it. So when those 90 people lose out to the 10 winners, is that doom and gloom? There were never more than 10 opportunities. Just it's such a great opportunity. Too many people are trying. It's hugely competitive by default. The majority of people who jump in are going to fail because there's too many people.
Yeah. And it's funny if you look back over the last 5, 6 years that I've been doing this, since it all started in 2018 at the New England Cannabis Convention with an interview with Dr. Jordan Tischler and with Stu Zakem. And I maintained friendships with both of those people. Here we are 6 years later. But are you finding more and more people are perhaps digging in their heels, might be the most cliche way to look at it, and saying, I don't want to be next to that person? Or do you see backbiting, or do you see collaboration amongst the industry, especially here locally?
It's interesting because in some markets I see that. In New England, I mean, by default, it's nobody wants to be next to a competitor just because it does, like I just finished having a lighting conversation. I'm gonna have another one. So by default, everybody is in that game. People buy their booths, they're not trying to be next to them. So it kind of takes care of themselves. And honestly, this event has become such a sort of annual meeting of the community event that overwhelmingly, yeah, there's a lot of collaboration. Everybody knows each other.
Right. 3 days down to 2 days. And you want
Yeah.
to enlighten us a little? Well, look, I've been there on the third day, so you're
Yeah.
really going to have to explain it to me. And
No, I mean,
yeah,
nobody who is there all 3 days wants the third day. No exhibitor wants to be there. I don't want to be there. But it was actually 2018, the first year you were there. That was the first time we kind of got hit with the fire marshal saying, "Yeah, I know you sold those tickets, but these people can't come in. It's too crowded." And at certain points, I was trying to get from the green room out to registration. And I was like, I can't walk this aisle. Like I can't get down it. So we actually had a problem that year in that we had people that we had to tell them you can't go in until other people leave. And so the very next year we made it 3 days, and we stopped selling Friday, Saturday tickets after a certain amount, and we had about 1,000 people of overflow, which yeah, for people to stick around for a third day for that 1,000 people might not be the best, but I'm like, what do I tell those 1,000 people? You can't come. So year after year we've done it. This year, finally, the upstairs hall, there's a smaller show up there, so one of the two halls upstairs is open. So now we have a third hall, so we're not going to have an overflow problem, because we could just tell people, hey, you have to go upstairs, but at least you can be in, you can see programming, you can do whatever. So on the map you'll see behind me here, you've got that third hall up there.
Cool.
That'll be right above the bottom ones.
I think I know that third floor. It's always been kind of ghost town like, but I think it's great that you've been able to expand into that. Uh, Omar Sachirbe is your keynote, one of the nicest guys in cannabis media, as far as I'm concerned. And I was thrilled to see that he was going to be your keynote tomorrow, on Saturday. How did that come about?
Well, it's funny because he's our theme, and we were saying this on off camera before. Our theme this year, because it's 10th anniversary, is just to be as local as possible and really make it a New England Northeast show. And Omar actually reached out to me years ago. I mean, it might have been even like 2017 when he first got employed by MJ Biz. He's a local guy. Both our kids play soccer. We had a lot in common, and so like we actually started just having informal meetings just for coffee and talking about the industry. And obviously, we were quasi competitors, but that speaks back to him like, it just doesn't really matter, like, hey, we're in this together. Your
Um,
success doesn't hurt me, and vice versa. So we've just had that talking relationship for years and years. And he recently just got promoted up to the editor spot. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity now
mm,
for you to you and come and give that sort of state of the union, but still from a local person, which really fit our theme, and we're really happy to have them.
yeah, and a soccer guy, which we all share that, which I
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned MJ Biz, and of course, it segued perfectly into Omar. That convention has had some interesting development. There's always that new stage, then it goes to adolescence, and then mature. And when it becomes mature, people aren't so focused on getting a booth and showcasing. They create events around your event. And this year, I've been invited to more events around your event than in the event. I don't know if that's just because it's me or it's your show, but are you finding now that there's actually more satellite activity going on around NECANN this weekend or next
No,
weekend?
absolutely. And just to sort of talk about that, a lot of people, I think, observationally, see that as some sort of thing like, oh, MJ Biz, like, oh, it's, yeah, I go out there, but it's not even worth going to the show. The show sucks. I do these events. And I'm just like, well, obviously, if you've been in the industry for 10 or 12 years and you've made all those floor connections you set up, you don't have to go to the floor. But does that mean the floor sucks? No, it just isn't valuable to you anymore. You're very focused. You're looking for 2 or 3 new partnerships. So yeah, you're going to set up those meetings off site. There's no need for you to walk the floor and see 1,000 booths. Now, everybody who's entered the industry in the last 2 or 3 years or is entering now, that's an incredibly valuable resource. So I think now that we're a more mature industry, you see more and more people reach that point, and it's almost like, well, college is stupid. Who would go? Well, yeah, you have a degree. You don't have to go to college. I get it, but that doesn't make college stupid. It just means you don't need it anymore. So yeah, we're seeing it now. Um, when people are good about it, they call us and they ask us, what conflicts. But we don't manage any events because we don't want to compete with anyone. So I just kind of say, like, look, I'd appreciate if you don't do anything while the convention's open, and if you stick to that one simple rule, we're happy to promote it and help you do things. The one exception we made this year is we are making Nova Farms party at Royale the official NECANN after party, because we're going to do a little 10th anniversary celebration and have some fun there. And we're pretty excited about that.
Good. Awesome. Well, I'm hoping to be there for that as well. And I certainly like Blair and the whole Nova Farms group. So again, a local doing well in the
Right?
industry, right?
Yep.
Um,
Right here in Attleboro, right next to me.
there you go. I've actually been down there too. I know
Yep.
exactly where they are. So Mark, you're not just in Boston anymore. You know, it's like the American Revolution. It started in Boston and you've expanded to many other cities now. Are you seeing, and especially in the new markets, is the excitement still there like it was, or walk me through, and can you describe what the action is like at maybe some of your newer locations?
Yeah, it is fun because, obviously if you do a show 9, 10 times, it's hard for it to be fresh every year. We're excited. It's a great show, but you say you get a little bit of that cynicism. People like, oh, you got to do this. But we were in, our first big expansion was to New Jersey in 2019, and we've developed a couple of really great partnerships. Last year was our fourth year there, and that market kind of just opened up, and it was that celebratory, like, oh my God, we made it. Look at all these opportunities. Everybody's just jumping around. Everyone's excited to be there. I was like, wow, this is Boston 2016, 17, when people are like, I can't believe I'm here. Like, this is a cannabis convention legally here. So yeah, we're seeing that in New Jersey. We're seeing it in New York. We're in our fourth year in Illinois. We've seen it there. And we launched a new show in Connecticut last year that had that vibe. First year show in Maryland this year. We've already gotten that vibe from people and groups reaching out to partner with us. And then we are doing our first show in Michigan. That's not a new market, but the people there are very excited to have a first time show there that's going to be locally focused. We're not going to be like trying to bring in everybody from outside to come in. We're going to bring together the local community in Grand Rapids. So that'll be fun too.
Very cool. And I have a great Michigan correspondent now, Amy Carter, who's a Michigan weedster. And I know if you don't know her, I'm happy to make that introduction. She is a mover
Yeah.
and shaker in that community, and I know that she would welcome it as well. Mark, on the federal side, how frustrating is it to be an American these days? I mean, I am. Both of us are from Massachusetts, so I'm sure there are already people out there that, oh, they're from Massachusetts, therefore they're this or that. And
Sure.
that's half the problem. Cannabis has now become a political pawn in this bipartisan battle that has really separated half our country from each other. I mean, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. Um, are you frustrated with that at all?
I mean, I don't know if I'm frustrated so much as I'm frustrated by the fact that from a legal standpoint, there's still people incarcerated. There's still places where people get arrested for it. Like, to me, that piece of it is, it's maddening. It's kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Um, I'm of probably a minority opinion. I would love to see it 100% legal everywhere. I kind of like the state to state model, to be honest with you. I think for this to be as beneficial and successful as possible, um, I'd prefer state to state.
Yeah, and I'm with you 100%. I want descheduling and decriminalization at the federal level. Leave it up to the states to have their own rules. And besides, being a talk show host and a news gatherer, if you will, I like it when there's different stories in each state, right?
Yeah,
Well, what do you mean you don't have home grow? Oh, what do you mean you can't have gummies in your store or whatever? Every state is different. It reflects the differences amongst us rather than let those differences separate us. And I'm
yeah,
all, as you know, I'm all for that. I want
no,
people to get
absolutely.
along and accept the fact that humans do make mistakes. And it's all about forgiving those mistakes, moving on and learning from them. That's the journey of life as I go off on a little tangent as I preach here, Marc Shepard. You want to give a quick pitch on something that perhaps we didn't cover that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, overall, this show is going to have a different feel because it has the upstairs. You open up a giant new hall. You obviously can't fill it. There's not 300 more booths to put in. So we've moved we've put three hard wall programming rooms upstairs so that people will be going upstairs to do programming. We inserted a huge attendee lounge area. I'm sure, Jimmy, you've joined. You're among the people that have looked around years. Say, there's no place to sit down here. So now we've got all the concessions, and then a complimentary coffee and water area, and a big area for people to sit, network, do deals, relax, take it easy for a few minutes. That'll be terrific. We also inserted a big award stage up there for the NECANN Cup. So this is our biggest year ever for the cup. We've made new huge cups and trophies for that. We'll be announcing those on the stage. And we also partnered with Green Market Report this year. They're doing an all-day finance summit, which is a separate ticket. You have to come to NECANN, but then you can buy a ticket. They have sessions running all day. You can do some of them, all of them. It includes a served lunch. It has cocktail hour at the end. And yeah, so it's going to be crazy. We also have behind me that picture there that I have up. That's our 10th anniversary magazine cover. Rather than just doing a show guide, we partnered with Talking Joints Memo, and we're actually filling that book with tons of relevant cannabis content for New England, Massachusetts, the history, the future, interviews, history of NECANN, and a little comic book tribute on the cover, because I'm a comic book nerd, and no one else will understand that cover, but that's for me.
Hey, wait a moment. I remember comic books when they were 12 cents. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those right here.
And I used to love them, and I still love the Marvel comic series for movies and everything too. You mentioned walking. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't sure I was going to make it to your convention this year. 38 days ago, I didn't replace my right hip. I had a very good doctor doing it.
Good. Should do it yourself.
That's not a do-it-yourself thing. I now have this cane. Okay, and I just wonder, do you guys have buggies? You have buggies that I could drive around in?
So people ask me that every year. I'm like, I don't, but I mean, the Hynes may. You got to ask the Hynes.
I'm
But
not
yeah,
going to ask
no,
the Hynes. I'm going to.
Yeah.
More importantly, I don't have to sit down in strangers' booths because I can walk better than I did for the last
Right.
few years. And that is something I am looking forward to. And it is going to be the first trade show I've been to in probably a couple of years, just because I couldn't stand and walk. So
Right.
anyway, nobody needs to hear about my body anymore. Marc Shepard from NECANN. How do people find you? How do people buy tickets? And yes, it is open to the public.
It is. It's, obviously, and I always have to tell people, like, if you're just looking to buy cannabis, go to a dispensary. This is a B2B networking and education event, but it is open. A lot of people come looking for jobs and careers. If you go to NECANN.com, there's ticket options for just walking the expo hall that start at $55. This year, we've made all the workshops free. So if you do buy a full pass for the speaker sessions, there's 4 workshops. They're on licensing. They're on all kinds of things, investing, finance, exit strategies. We have actually a couple of yoga and relaxation sessions too that are included in the ticket. And we are doing a giveaway. Everybody's automatically entered when you buy a ticket. We're going to be giving out lifetime VIP passes to all NECANN events to winners, and then also a booth giveaway to the exhibitors.
Well, it sounds like a great weekend to be in Boston, March 22nd, March 23rd at the Hynes Auditorium in downtown Boston, or in the Back Bay, as they say here in the northeast of the United States of America. Marc Shepard, best of luck to you. I know I will see you there.
You sure will. Always a pleasure, Jimmy. Thank you so much for having us on. We'll see you.